You've probably seen it. You're sitting on the couch, your dog is fast asleep, and their paws suddenly start paddling the air. Or maybe you've watched them spin in 3 tight circles before finally lying down, or suddenly freeze to sniff at an empty breeze. We spend years living with these animals and adore them completely, yet we frequently categorize these specific actions as goofy personality traits or random, meaningless habits. The reality is that dogs are communicating. They speak a highly evolved, continuous language, driven by precise biological mechanisms. To understand what they are saying, we have to map their physical anatomy. We can decode this silent language by starting at the edge of their senses and working our way inward to their minds. When we examine the mechanics behind these everyday routines, we stop seeing just a pet and begin to see a biological marvel. The best place to start this map is at the front of the snout. A dog's nose has a physical pattern of ridges that is unique to them, functioning much like a human fingerprint. This animated diagram illustrates why that nose is always wet. A thin layer of mucus acts as a trap. When floating scent particles hit this wet surface, they physically dissolve into the liquid, allowing the dog's olfactory receptors to process the data. Moving to the ears, this cross-section highlights 18 distinct muscles at the ear's base. This network allows the ears to swivel independently like satellite dishes, intercepting incoming sound waves to pinpoint a faint noise's exact origin without moving their head. These hypersensitive input receptors are working continuously, feeding the dog a rich, detailed, and invisible map of the world that we are completely oblivious to. Stepping back, we can observe how a dog physically outputs the data they gather. For example, many owners assume a tail wag is a universal sign of happiness, but the mechanics suggest something more specific. This rear-view schematic reveals a neurological asymmetry in the way a dog wags its tail. A wag leaning heavily to the right maps to positive emotions, like seeing an owner. A wag pulling to the left signals anxiety or uncertainty. Beyond emotional outputs, dogs use their whole bodies to interact with their immediate environment, a routine we see every time they spin in a circle right before lying down. This nesting circle is a hardwired instinct. Before modern padded beds, their wild ancestors used this spinning motion to physically flatten tall grass into a comfortable sleeping area. Trampling the ground served a secondary survival function, scaring off any hidden snakes or insects lingering in the tall grass before they closed their eyes. Every physical movement serves a distinct purpose. It's an unfiltered translation of their emotional state and ancient survival programming. Once the dog has settled and fallen asleep, we see those muffled barks and the rhythmic twitching of the paws again. This state of rest is the REM, or rapid eye movement phase. During REM sleep, the dog's physical body is immobilized, but their brain is highly active, busy processing the specific scents, sounds, and events they gathered throughout the day. Those physical twitches are the final visible bridge. They show exactly where the physical dog ends and a complex inner psychological world begins. We've mapped out a sensory machine equipped with precise radars and ancient survival protocols. But when we look at how the dog operates when awake, a pattern emerges. Despite their hyper-awareness, dogs do not use this biological hardware to ruminate on yesterday's mistakes or to stress over tomorrow's problems. Because every piece of their anatomy, from the wet nose catching the current scent to the ears tracking the current sound, is tuned to the immediate environment, the dog is physically anchored to the now. They use this specialized biology to inhabit the present moment, offering a level of loyalty and presence that is rare to find. Studying this silent language holds a mirror up to human behavior and our own frequent lack of presence. It leaves us with a question: how much would our own lives change if we looked at the world with the same curiosity and lack of judgment as the dogs resting beside us?